What's up, guys? We are back for Sweet 16 action in March Madness. The first two rounds were complete chaos. As always, lots of madness on some upsets and things that nobody expected to happen, like Florida going down to Iowa, Wisconsin blowing an 8-point lead with 4 minutes left, Santa Clara having an in the bag with 2 seconds left, and Kentucky forcing overtime and winning ultimately in overtime. Typical March Madness. But we're on to the Sweet 16. Give you some picks I like if you want to parlay them on Thursday, Friday games. We'll see. There's a couple games I really like. The game on Thursday, night of everything, Houston is a 2.5-point favorite against Illinois. I was high on Illinois looking at it the end of the season blindly before the brackets were put out, but I'm even more high on Houston with their typical defense, but their offense is even better compared to prior years. Illinois has the highest ceiling if they play up to their potential, but they rarely do. And against Houston, I just don't like it. So give me Houston to cover the 2.5. I think Houston has a shot to get to the finals this year. Really like this team that's more balanced, like their point guard, young guy Fleming. That guy's going to be a good stud in the NBA. But give me Houston minus 2.5. Also on Thursday, I go back and forth. This is going to be a really interesting game. Big Ten matchup. Somebody's going to the Elite Eight. 9-seed Iowa going up against 4-seed Nebraska, finally getting some wins in the tournament. Iowa's back in the Sweet 16, I think, for the first time in 25 years. Nebraska is a 1.5-point favorite. Nebraska is the better three-point shooting team. They have really good guards. They can shoot the rock. They play at a medium clip, not super fast, but they don't play slow. Iowa has that great shooter, and Sturts, I think his name is. They are playing lights out, really well coached. Coach McCollum has been doing an amazing job. Some of you may know he's from the small school Drake, who did a great job there. People are picking Iowa to win this game. I think there's a real thing, like the madness continues, but there's definitely a thought of letdown after the 2 games in a row where now they're let down for 4 games before they play basketball. Their momentum, all their poise sort of goes out the window. Now they got to reestablish that. I know they have a great coach. I know they believe they're playing well. I just don't think they have the horses. They have 10 losses. Nebraska's got 5 losses this year. Nebraska beat all the really good teams in the Big Ten. Iowa did not. They did beat Florida on that freak play at the end with great defense. I think this is going to be an excellent game. It's going to be close. Nebraska shooters are going to come to play, and that's going to be the difference. If Iowa can come up with a game plan to stop them, I think that's a problem, but Iowa will slow it down. Nebraska's still going to get their shots off. Give me Nebraska minus 1.5. So we like Houston minus 2.5, and we like Nebraska minus 1.5. And then on Friday, there's 2 games that really stand out. Duke, everybody loves Duke. They're going up against Rick Pitino's St. John's. Everyone remembers 1992. Christian Laettner, Kentucky, when Pitino was there. Jamal Mashburn was there. It went into overtime. Kentucky was up by 1 in overtime with a crazy shot. Laettner hits the best shot ever in the Spectrum in Philadelphia in 92. Unbelievable. Probably the best college basketball game in the history. Some of you I know were actually at that game, which is unbelievable. Duke is a 6.5-point favorite. St. John's plays great defense. They run and gun. I don't know who's going to win this game, but I expect it to be really close, just like that 92 Kentucky Duke game. Give me St. John's plus 6.5. I think it's going to be a couple possession game. St. John's will keep it close, maybe even upset them. I'm not ready to go there money line or to say that, but I think St. John's plus 6.5 is a good one. And then finally, UConn is a 1.5-point favorite against Michigan State. 2 insane coaches, the changing of the guard. Tom Izzo's been around. He's done it forever. His team was always ready to play insane defense, tougher than anyone. But Danny Hurley is a machine. He's probably the craziest coach there is in basketball outside of Bobby Knight. He's focused. He's just got some intensity to match Izzo's. UConn's really under the radar. Their offense has not been as great as ever, but they are a very disciplined team. They're not going to get beat. They could beat themselves. Maybe, very rarely, the only team that's going to beat them is themselves. So it's going to be tough. Both teams fighting it out. UConn's a 1.5-point favorite. They're the higher seed. I think UConn wins. Tom Izzo goes down again in the Sweet 16. So give me UConn minus 1.5. So we like St. John's plus 6.5 and UConn minus 1.5 to see. And then what's going to happen? We'll talk more, I guess, to see who gets to the Final Four. I think Michigan's going to get to the Final Four. I think UConn is ultimately going to get to the Final Four. We didn't talk about Purdue. Arizona, Arkansas, I'm staying away from that game because Calipari's teams are dangerous, but it would not surprise me if they go down to Arkansas. I'm not going to touch it, or Purdue advances, and maybe Purdue gets them. Purdue gets to the Final Four maybe, and then we talked about Houston. Could it be Houston, Michigan, and Michigan cuts down the Nets? But we'll see. Those are what we got, guys. We'll talk to you. V Production, Sweet 16. See ya.